Hello, I'm Hannah. You may be new around here or have been following my business journey for a while. With that being said, things look a little different where I started back in 2013. From the products that I offer to the services that I provide, to the social media landscape and ultimately those close to me in life. It's hard to pretend everything is the same. It isn't. I've grown. I'm 10 years older. I've evolved in many ways. I've lost members of family that shaped my everyday, and I welcomed my first child into this world. Navigating a business through all of this has been hard, beautiful, turbulent, and steady, all in one. It has been my place to escape to and from. What hasn't changed, however, is my love for lettering, typography, calligraphy, and signwriting. If it's a type form, I'm pretty much obsessed. Combine this with a nod of nostalgia and a sprinkle of storytelling, and you pretty much have the foundations to handmade. A business that myself, Hannah, created from a laptop and a silhouette machine from my bedroom. With a paintbrush in my hand, I created a business that centered around hand-painted touches. Think hand-painted wedding invitations and calligraphy place names. I then decided to invest in a laser machine. At the time, it was a chunky investment to make on not only myself, but the business. Who even knew if it was going to work? Was it the right move? All I knew is that I had to make it work. I got to grips with the machine and knuckled down with my SEO, particularly that of Etsy. When I started, the platform hadn't much presence here in the UK, but I could tell it was the beginning of what was to come. Slowly but surely, I grew my product offerings. I specialised in cake toppers before they were really a thing here in the UK, and using Adobe Illustrator, I created unique and one-off designs that were intricately laser cut. Alongside my laser cutting, I used vinyl printing and sublimation printers to transfer my watercolour paintings or hand-lettered calligraphy to various products, particularly focusing on weddings. For years, this was my primary audience, and then COVID happened. And here in the UK, all weddings stopped. I was working from home and no longer at my studio, and quickly moved to showcasing more of my work online. I created calligraphy lessons for the iPad on Skillshare and focused my efforts on Instagram. By this point, my digital hand lettering had begun to take me down another direction, away from products. I was now solely online and not creating any physical products. I was away from my studio and figuring out life at home with my iPad, camera and editing software. As we eased into a new sense of normality, I gave birth to my daughter. And from this moment, my life in business no longer looked the same. I stepped back from my business and I watched it from afar, wondering how I was going to make this work. I came back, slowly this time, with extra bags for nappies and the need for coffee. I started to create products, but my heart just wasn't in it the same. I seemed to no longer connect with the business I once started. After all, it had gone through a substantial change, and in all honesty, I didn't know which way to go. I had begun to be approached by brands big and small for marketing purposes, something I had considered but not gave any thought. I loved this part of my brand. In fact, it was the part that I excelled in. I used to do all the marketing whilst my team helped make the product. SEO was my strength, but it didn't fulfill me enough to take this any further. With a camera in my hand and a love for storytelling, it was time to put the two together and merge this with SEO. I began to start offering my services for brands. It worked around family life, and I was able to disappear for a while whilst I put the pieces into action and created the content for brands. At the same time, I was also falling out of love with social media. The pace was becoming quicker and I felt like everything was on top of me and I couldn't think for myself. Searching for the answer, I deleted all social media off my phone. I knew this would bring me disconnect both between myself and the audiences I had built, but it felt right and something I needed to do. After 9 months of making my phone a dumb phone, essentially, it just makes calls and texts now, I began to really see the benefits. Occasionally, I was tempted to download the apps. I missed the genuine connections I had made, but I knew I didn't want to turn back. I ummed and ahed about YouTube. Can I run a business solely on YouTube? I mean, after all, it's the second largest search engine to Google. Instead of relying solely on Instagram's algorithms and 3-second viral hooks, can I create something longer lasting, with intent and with purpose? I longed to be back painting and creating, but at the same time, the time just wasn't right. I didn't have any more hours during the day to be at my studio. My daughter was still by my side, and it was the summer holidays. We made the most of the long summer days, painting, creating, and making the most of our time. And then, with a blink of an eye, I suddenly had more time on my hands. Time that I could give back to my business and to myself, to discover who I am, what I wanted to create, and understand how my business has evolved. So I'm here today to say, tell your story, to start that business idea, to unearth the creative in you that longs to be explored. Your story is powerful. It is yours. Own your unique selling point and be proud of what you create, because the best is yet to come.